Hello, what's up, and welcome back to this all new Sunday video, you guys. I hope you have had a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for being here. I am Kimberly. I am one part of the Pratt Pack. The rest of them are out and about. Guys, it is so beautiful out today. The sun is shining, birds are chirping, and they are out riding their bikes, scooters, skateboards, and loving this day, which is great because it gives me the peaceful, perfect opportunity to do a story time. Guys, not too long ago while I was doing some cooking, I thought of one that I thought, oh my God, I haven't told this story. And to me, it's quite hilarious. So I thought I would share with you guys. I hope you enjoy. So without further ado, this is the time I destroyed my dad's clothes by making fried squash. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so the year is about 1996. I'm almost positive when I think about it, I was about 11 years old. For the longest time, I'd always watched my dad cook. One of my favorite things was pulling up a chair to the stove, to the counter, and watching whatever he was doing. I was always fascinated by what he was adding, he just had such different techniques and ways to do things, and I really enjoyed watching him. So one of the things that I really liked watching him make that just seemed so simple to me was fried squash. Now, a lot of you guys know that we used to have a garden in our backyard. Angry Grandpa had a green thumb and he had planted a ton of fruit and vegetables. We had watermelons, we had cantaloupe, we had honeydew, we had peas, we had beans, we had cucumbers, we had squash, we had tomatoes. We just had it all. And I mean, how fantastic is that to be able to just walk out in your own backyard? I wish I could do that. We have a skunk problem. I have tried putting mothballs back there, but I would love to have that myself right now. To just be able to walk in your backyard, pick your own fruit and vegetables. It just all seems so magical to me. So I get prepared, I throw my boots on, and I grab a basket that we had previously gotten from the farmer's market with peaches in it. And I go out there and I'm looking around and I'm taking my time and I'm being so grown up about this, right? And I'm just out there and I'm sucked, and it's just like, you are coming with me. And I pluck it off and it's just like this, put it in my basket, and I'm overwhelmed and like overjoyed at this moment. Like I have selected my meal. And this excites me. I have picked the most beautiful squash out there, and this thing is going to be delicious. Sit it in the sink, turn it on, and I'm washing it, giving it a nice bath, getting any of that dirt, bugs, any of that stuff off, and I'm feeling so proud of myself. Like I'm getting there, like I'm doing this, like I am making myself lunch. So I get it nice and clean and I sit it off to the side. And now I need to get the rest of my ingredients, right? So obviously I need a deep pan. You want a pan big enough to be able to pour some grease in there so that when you put your squash in, it is covered and it gets nice and coated in the grease and turned up. We'll get there. So first up, I want to find a pan. So I look for a nice deep sized pan, and these are like the easiest things to make too, right? Because all you need for this is vegetable oil. Personally, I used yellow cornmeal. I'm not sure that it really matters. It's just personal, I guess. But I use yellow cornmeal, salt, and that's it. The squash and the vegetable oil. That's it. So simple, and I'm doing this. So I get all my ingredients out and I'm so excited. I get my squash over there and I start slicing it, and they are, to me, they're the perfect slices. They're not too thick, they're not too thin, they're just perfect. They're gonna get coated nicely. I'm so excited for this. I'm just slicing away at my squash and getting them nice and beautiful and prepared. Then you get a bowl and you pour your cornmeal in there. And it's as simple as I put my cornmeal and some salt. Give that a good mix, combine it, and then I just take my nice clean squash, put it in there, mix it around. I've done this actually in other variations using egg wash, but this, my first time doing it, it was as simple as cutting the squash into perfect bite pieces and just putting it in the cornmeal salt mixture and getting them nice and coated. So now here comes the step that I was most weary of, right? Here comes the hot grease. I get my pan on the stove and I probably use half of the bottle of vegetable oil to get it to a nice size in there where I know my squash is gonna be covered and it's gonna fry evenly. Now here's where I was a little confused. I couldn't remember the temperature. I knew it wasn't low because if it's not hot enough, it's not really gonna fry very well, or it's gonna take a really long time to fry. Don't wanna do it on medium, so my thought is high, right? That's gonna get it up there. It's gonna get the grease nice and hot and quick, and it's gonna fry it like that, right? Because at the same time, they don't take that long to fry anyways. So I'm thinking high, right? Of course, that's the answer. We're gonna put this grease on high. So that's what I did. So I am letting this grease heat up and I'm getting the rest of my squash prepared. I'm making sure each piece is beautiful and covered and they have equal amounts of cornmeal on each side, and I'm so proud of myself. I've got them laid out. This is gonna be fantastic. I am doing this like my meal is halfway there, more than halfway there. All I have to do is fry them and I'm done. I am in the clear. I have made myself fried squash for the first time and I am just like overjoyed at this moment. Like I am almost there, but I'm still a little bit scared because I hear this grease heating up over there and I start hearing the pop, 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 pop. And I look over and I see little bubbles coming up in the grease. Now to me, that just means it's working, right? Right? Like, it's working. I get to just throw the squash in there now and it's gonna do the rest, and no, not quite so much. So I'm a little bit nervous at this point, but I've already come this far and I'm not quitting now. So I get my squash lined up and I start putting them in, right? So piece by piece, I take the first piece, put it in, seems okay. I hear it starting to like heat up quite a bit, like more pops and noises are starting to come from the pan. But I keep going. So I have my next piece and it's getting louder and louder. And I add my third piece, and at that point, like the first ones are like pop, 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 and there is grease popping off these things and hitting me in the arms. So I keep going until I get all of my pieces of squash perfectly lined up in this pan to start frying. So now I've succeeded, right? They're in there, but they are popping like crazy. Each piece is making its own noise, its own popping grease out of it, and it's quite it's quite terrifying at this point. So I start to get a little bit more nervous. I go in the laundry room and I start looking around for anything. I need something to help me because this grease is popping and it's starting to hurt. And I need to turn them. It is time to flip these things over, but I'm kind of scared. So I'm looking in the laundry room and we have our cardboard in there. We kept everything in the laundry room and it just gets thrown out the back door into the garbage until it gets hauled off to the dump. But that's where it all ends up, is in our laundry room, which is right off of the kitchen. So I start looking around for something to use and there's cardboard boxes in there. So I take a pizza box that we had sitting in there from the night before and I take that and I start using that as like a shield. This is now going to protect me as I flip my squash over to make sure they are fried perfectly. So I walk back over to the stove, but holding this pizza box is awkward. There's no real good way to hold on to it. I'm trying to grip the inside. I go to flip the first piece and that grease is just popping like crazy and it's hitting the top of my hand and it's not working. So I'm like, I need something else and I need it quick because I need to flip these things or they're going to burn. So I run back into the laundry room and I start scrambling around. Anything. I need something, anything. I don't care what it is. I just need protection so I can flip my squash. I needed this to be a success. So I reach in and I just grab. There's clothes. It's the laundry room. There's laundry in front of the washing machine. So I just grabbed something, anything. I didn't look to see what the hell I had grabbed. I just grabbed it and wrapped my arms up. And and ran back over to the stove. I grab my fork and I start flipping my squash, and this is actually working. It's not popping on my arm, like it's popping like crazy. I have the grease up entirely too high. And I don't even think turn the grease down. I'm thinking, let's just cover my arms real quick with whatever I can find and continue going about our business. But it's not popping on my arms anymore. It's popping on whatever I have covering my arms. Like, this is great. Like, it's actually doing the trick, and I'm so excited and happy. So this was actually a total success. Like, this has worked. My squash is flipped, and I can now start removing them from the pan. So I get my plate, I get a paper towel, put it on so the grease can kind of soak from the squash onto there, and it's working. I'm able to get the squash out of there with the fork. It's popping like crazy, but it's hitting my shields. I'm good. I'm able to go about making my food. So I get all my squash out, I turn the grease off, move it off the burner, let it start cooling down, doing its thing, and I go over and I start taking my gear off, right? I start untying where I have it like stuffed and knotted in, and as I'm taking it off, I realize I'm wearing my shields was my dad's shirts. 2 of my dad's shirts, one pullover and one button up, I have wrapped around my arms, and they are now dotted, blotted, and absolutely stained in grease. Oh my God. When I tell you panic and fear that came over my body, I can't fully express it to you. Like, sheer like panic set in, and I'm like, how am I supposed to even enjoy my food? Like, this is Dad's stuff. He's gonna kill me. What am I gonna do? I can't leave these here. I can't leave these laying anywhere around here. And I'm hot. I feel cold with fear. I don't know what I'm thinking. But next thing I know, I have the shirts, and I'm running in the backyard as far as I can go into the back corner. We lived on a half an acre of land, and I ran to the back corner and I just started digging like a mad woman. And next thing I know, I'm burying shirts. I run back inside, just run back in, throw everything away, put everything away. Nothing happened. Clean up my mess, get all the counters are cleaned. Nothing has happened. Everything is cool. Everything is good. Nothing wrong happened. Made myself some squash. It was great. So I just grab my plate off the counter. I go and I sit at the table, and I enjoy my first time making fried squash, and I'm just so proud of myself in that moment. And then I hear Dad pull in, and I start to panic again. I'm like, oh my God. I'm thinking shirts, not even thinking like I just fried squash with hot grease on the stove, and what is he gonna say to that? Like, I never even thought about that. Like, I'm thinking about shirts that I have grease stains on, ruined, buried in the backyard, that he will not have any idea about until he's looking for those shirts. But that's where my mind was. He's gonna know immediately. But he comes in and he wasn't mad. He was actually really surprised and impressed. And he came over and he grabbed a few pieces of squash, he tried them, and he popped them in his mouth. He was like, God, kid, you're pretty f***ing good. You can make it for me next time, God. And I do remember a time, like months later, where he was looking for one of those shirts. It was the button up. He was looking for that, and I never said a word. And to this day, I don't think I ever got the chance to tell him. So, Dad, if you're listening to this story, I'm sorry. I ruined your shirts with grease, and I buried them in the backyard in Gaston. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. As always, thank you so much for being here and watching. It truly means a lot to me. I appreciate you guys continuing to return. I love you, love you, love you. Have a fantastic week. As always, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe. If you didn't, like, subscribe. Have a great week, guys. Love you.